Is it recording?
Start.
Oh, boy. I would like to introduce you to Whitney. I got her from the Moore shelter, animal shelter, when she was about 8 weeks old, and now she's about 3 years old, and she's become a real good buddy of mine. And you can have a good buddy, you can get a good buddy from the animal shelter too. Isn't that right, Whitney? Whitney. Down, Whitney. Good girl. Up, sit. Good girl. Everybody applause for Whitney. My name is Tanya Detweiler, and I'm going to talk to you about getting a shelter animal today. Millions of shelter animals are euthanized each year in the US because they don't have a home, and we cannot turn away our eyes from that. You should adopt a shelter animal next time you are looking for a pet. I myself have adopted quite a few animals over the years. You all know my cat situation. I would like to give you some handouts, if you would pass these on. And on these handouts, you can see the animal organizations and their websites, just in case you want to check the websites out. I did most of my research on these websites. That's ASPCA, American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, the Humane Society of the United States, NCPPSP, National Council on Pet Population Study and Policy. And I will spare you with the gruesome pictures of injured and mistreated animals. I would like to keep this speech positive. So tonight I'm going to talk about the problem of having to euthanize too many animals, and I'm going to talk to you about what you can do, and I'm going to talk to you about the effects your actions can have or not. So let me go ahead and start with the problem. The problem is that too many animals are euthanized in animal shelters. According to an ASPCA article from 2003, 8 to 12 million animals end up in animal shelter each year in the US. And what do you think, how many of these are euthanized? Well, approximately 5 to 8 million animals are euthanized in animal shelters in the US each year. And most of these animals are good and healthy animals. According to a Humane Society issue from 2009, it is a common misconception that they have done something wrong. In fact, according to the NCPPSP, the main reasons why animals are relinquished to shelters are moving and cost of maintenance. In the course of my research, I have come to the opinion that it's not the animal shelter's fault that these animals have to be euthanized, but societies. And I would like to quote Newkirk, the president of PETA, from 2000 here. It's easy to point the finger at those who are forced to do the dirty work caused by a throwaway society's casual acquisition and breeding of dogs and cats who end up homeless and unwanted. Now that I've explained the problem to you, I would like to tell you what you can do. You can adopt a shelter animal. This way, you won't be supporting puppy mills. And I would like to say a few words about puppy mills. You can Google puppy mills or watch the video on the Humane Society's website. It's called Mississippi puppy mill rate. You can do these things to get a picture of what puppy mills are like. In this video, for example, they rate this puppy mill, and inside the house, when they come in, it's a stench, it's filthy, the floor is covered with fecal matter. The dogs in the fur, they have fecal matter in the fur, they have maggots in the fur, they are injured, they are inbred, it's gruesome. Don't support puppy mills. Before you get an animal, you should educate yourself what the animal needs, what kind of food, what kind of medical care, what kind of grooming, and you should ask yourself, do I have the money and the time? And you should answer those questions honestly. And if you want a list of questions you should ask yourself, you can go to pawrescue.org. Once you adopted an animal, you should have it spayed or neutered to stop overpopulation and euthanization. And I would like to give you an example here of Spay USA. This example is about a cat. If you don't have a cat spayed, and this cat will get about 2 litters a year, and if of those litters 2.8 kittens survive each year, then this cat and her offspring will produce over 9 years, will produce 11,606,077 cats, and that's a lot of cats. So have your animals spayed and neutered. Now that I told you what you should do, I would like to talk about some of the effects. It can have negative effects and positive effects. Adopting a shelter animal can be risky. I myself once adopted a puppy from the shelter, and only 10 days later it died of distemper. However, adopting a shelter animal can be rewarding as well. You will feel good about yourself because you saved a life, and the animal will be happy because it will be happy to have someone. If we don't adopt more animals, we have to keep on euthanizing millions of loving animals. And I would like to repeat Wayne Purcell, from the president of the Humane Society. He said that 20% of dogs and even a smaller percentage of cats in homes come from animal shelters. That means 4 out of 5 dogs come from other sources. And if we only get a small percentage of these dogs from animal shelters instead of the internet or pet stores, which are really puppy mills behind the scenes, the problem could be solved. In summary, the problem is that we have to euthanize too many animals, and we can do something about it by adopting a shelter animal, and the effects are mainly rewarding, I would say. I would like to conclude my speech with a quote from Albert Schweitzer. Think occasionally of the suffering of which you spare yourself the sight.